So T.I. now speaks out at the Red Table Talk, and we need to get into this because this has probably done more damage than he would have thought, and this was carried out disgustingly.
Right.
Let me go set this record straight. I never said I was in any exam room. That is an assumption.
Right.
That is a falsity.
Got it.
I never said that it was being done present day.
Right.
As an 18-year-old.
You know, 'cause she was 15 and 16 years old at the time.
And I never said that her mother wasn't present.
Right.
Her mom was present
they
every
went
time.
Together.
Right.
You know, he was just, you know, most fathers don't go, but he was just present.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Murad Murali. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. If you haven't already, click that button for daily and consistent content coming at you with content every single day. Do subscribe and head over to my Instagram, Murad_Murali, and let's get into this and obviously divulge and talk about this whole situation, because this seems to be just very, you know, sad and, you know, unfortunate. I think that the key word for this video is unfortunate, because this could have been handled in a far better way. Now, if you guys are tuning into this video and you have no idea what I'm talking about, T.I. obviously, you know, was part of a podcast where he joined in a conversation and expressed where he goes with his daughter to check on, you know, her daughter's hymen just to see if she's doing anything, you know, that she should not be doing. But this treatment and in terms of protectiveness doesn't really stand for the boys in his family.
We go.
Which, by the way, your daughters are so beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
So,
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you have your hands full.
And like the other one's 18, so she definitely knows about sex.
See,
but
this
I'm
is
just
the
wait,
thing.
It's Deja, right? She's 18,
Yes,
right?
Deja's 18, just graduated high school now, and she's attending her first year of college, figuring it out for herself. And yes, not only have we had the conversation, we have yearly trips to the gynecologist to check her height.
Oh,
You,
okay.
I'm done with you right now.
So, you know,
Do you
birthday
go with her?
party.
She's a prisoner.
Yes, I go with her.
Somebody check on Deja.
I go with her.
She's a
And
prisoner.
so let me tell you, right? So this is one time we go. I think this might have been after her 16th birthday, and then
What the fuck?
you know, usually like the day after the party, she's enjoying her gifts. I put a sticky note on the door. Gyno. Tomorrow, 9:30.
Oh,
This is great.
And so look, right? So we'll go. You know what I mean? We'll go and we'll sit down. We'll sit down, and then the doctor will come and talk. And you know, the doctor's maintaining a high level of professionalism. He's like, well, you know, sir, I have to. You know, in order for me to share information, I say, Deja, they want you to sign this. They want you to sign
this right now.
They want you to sign.
I think his entire argument and his entire focal point was trying to evade the questions of what was really going on here. And first and foremost, before we even begin this conversation, I feel like T.I.'s daughter should have been present, very present in that room, number one. Number two, I don't understand what T.I.'s wife was doing there. Like, I don't understand what relevance she was adding. She really was just literally just being a people pleaser and just, you know, saying what she needed to say. And the things, if you actually think about what he was doing and what he was saying in this interview, of course he was doing it, you know, for damage control, to try and prevent any more controversy, to try and put his name in a good light, but it did not seem that way at all. He seems to be very controlling and protective, as we know. But what is interesting is that the words controlling and protective are used, you know, there's a fine line between them both. There's a very fine line. You can protect your child, but controlling them is not necessarily protecting them.
Most fathers don't go, but he was just present.
right.
Yeah.
And he didn't make the doctor's appointment.
No,
It was already,
no.
you know, appointment.
And all of these things, all of this narrative, this false narrative has just been sensationalized.
So at the time, her mother welcomed your presence, and your
Sure.
daughter did too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was never any objection.
Right.
She did have a problem with me talking about it, however.
Right.
And I understand
That's-
that. And I'm incredibly apologetic to her for that.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah.
To you.
And it comes to a point of abuse. And the things that he says, he's very misogynistic, and it seems to be very shocking. If he actually just literally, if I quote the things that he says, T.I. literally said, if my son goes out and gets a girl pregnant, how does the household change? My household does not change. But if my daughter comes home pregnant, my household is changed immediately. The stakes are higher. Like, how moronic are these statements? How do you not know that what you're saying is far more damaging? Evidently your house is going to change regardless of if your son or your daughter has a child, because your son literally is going to have a child out there in the world, whether they be here or somewhere else. So your household, your mentality, everything is going to change regardless. And then he goes on to say even more further shocking stuff, and it's like, this has angered so many people. Like, it's just angered everyone. And it's like, this is at, like, somebody even tweets at 15:20, T.I. begins to very clearly indicate that if his daughter was no longer a virgin, he was going to treat her differently, including financial consequences. So in conclusion, he is trash, complete trash. And it's like, oh, it's this old-fashioned mentality of, patriarchy. You don't even know what the word patriarch even means.
Do you think that's the part you were trying to protect her from?
Yes, because if you aren't
You
able,
feel like young boys that age would not be able to care for
defile
your
and destroy
daughter. Care for your daughter emotionally in the way in which you think she deserves.
Absolutely.
And that's what it was about.
I mean, definitely, all of the above.
And this misogynistic kind of deep-rooted, unfortunate kind of abuse that you're spewing out of your mouth. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know what you're saying and how damaging it can be. His daughter was even liking tweets, in shade against T.I. and even unfollowed him. So of course, Deja, I believe that's her name, feels very troubled by what is going on, and even expressed to her father, don't talk about this online because it's going to affect me, and it definitely has. And he was apologetic to his daughter, which I'm glad that he said that. This entire talk wasn't completely pointless, but I think that 90% of it, he was just very lost and confused. Then he was obviously talking about, I want to protect her from the boys who don't treat, women with respect. And it's like, well, what have you been doing to your wife all this time? And no mean to be disrespectful, no mean to be shadeful, no mean to, I'm not even trying to be funny right now, because it's deep-rooted hypocrisy. Everybody's hypocritical to an extent. Everybody, all of us are flawed in one way, but this is a different situation. This is a very deep-rooted hypocrisy. Your wife is sitting right next to you, and she's even expressed many times herself that you've been playing with other girls, and here you are literally talking about how you want to defend your daughter from men like you. It's like, I wish Jada just got a mirror and showed it to him. Like, this is what you're protecting your daughter from, people like you. And it's funny how he masks it all as protectiveness. And people are saying he's a narcissist. I feel like I can see narcissistic tendencies in him, but I also feel like that word is very overplayed and overhyped. Not everybody can be a narcissist, but at the same time, I feel like that word is, there are some tendencies and some criteria, diagnostic criteria, that do kind of sit to what he says. And he seems to be very controlling, and you don't have to be physical to be controlling. You can be mentally controlling as well. And it seems to be very unsettling for his daughter, who's gone through a lot of this. Unfortunately, I feel like this Red Table Talk was pointless for T.I. I feel like he wanted to do damage control, but unfortunately he did even more damage for him. He didn't even see how stupid he comes across with the quotes that he was saying. This ideology of protecting virginity to a whole new level acts as a catalyst to, alongside misogyny and patriarchy and societal conditioning, to obviously act as a catalyst to abuse women, especially young girls who are growing up in this world. And to have a father like that to say all these things, of course his intentions, he wants to care for his children, and I would assume that he's given his children what they would want. But at the same time, if this is what you're doing, and you're leaving papers underneath her door to say, this is the time that we need to go check this, that, and this is what we're going to do, and it's just sad, really. I don't think this is anything great. Deja needed to be there. He needed to apologize to her, and I feel like Deja's real mother needs to be there as well. This is what needed to really have taken place, but unfortunately it did not. And Jada was trying to make him see sense, but it just can't happen. With some people, they just cannot see sense. They just cannot see it. They live in a completely different reality. It's completely void. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this video. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this topic of conversation. Did you guys watch the Red Table Talk? What are your thoughts on what he has said? Do you think this was a productive thing for him to do? Do you think it was the right thing for him to do? And do you think it brought him any benefit? Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this video. Please do subscribe. Click that button for daily and consistent content. Head over to my Instagram, Murad_Murali, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.